Welcome everyone to the 2018 Closing Ceremony for our middle school. Tonight we take stock of the past year. In speeches and clips, we're going to walk back through what we've been up to. Not every step of the journey, thank goodness, but enough to offer a sense of where we've been. As we settle into our seats and look back, I hope that we notice not only the depth and breadth of the lengthy list of programs and events, but also the values that stand behind all we do. With this in mind, we start by offering words of recognition to our local Indigenous community. We acknowledge that our school rests in the heart of Strait Salish territory, a living culture with its own rites, ceremonies, and unfolding history. We honor the Esquimalt, Songhees, and Wasanich peoples, whose homelands we share and whom we recognize as our neighbors. In chapel, we're always looking for different ways to approach the values question. Recently, I asked the students to jot down the types of people they wanted to be. And after sorting out a few hundred colorful cue cards, their responses fell largely into 4 categories. From each of these stacks, one card was selected to represent the pile. Here's what our students had to say. I want to be the kind of person who likes to help people. I want to be the kind of person who brings joy to any situation. I want to be the kind of person who sees and appreciates people for who they are at their core. I want to be the kind of person who makes everyone feel wanted, included, and welcome. Now, we're clear that we don't always get it right, don't always stay on this path. But at least we know where we want to go, where we're heading. Our values guide how we approach the lengthy list of activities we undertake along the way. So as this night progresses, let's keep our eyes not only on what's happened, but also on where we're going, who we're trying to be. Let's begin by joining together in a moment of prayer. Let us pray. Gracious God, may we be mindful not only of what we've done this year, but of who we're becoming as individuals and as a community. The kind of people we choose to be, the kind of path we choose to walk, makes all the difference in this world. As part of that journey, right now, for the people around us, for the year behind us, for this night before us, we give our thanks. So we pray. Amen.
So this is how most days usually start. Good morning, everybody. Let's try that again, students. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I think Anna did a much better job of impersonating me at the student rendition of the 12 Days of Christmas this year than I could ever have done, but that was okay. For years, schools have been criticized for not keeping pace with change, criticized for continuing to do the same things year after year. There's a story that's been making the rounds for years about looking at the world from outer space. And if the only thing you saw was a school, and you cut open the roof, you wouldn't be able to tell what year or decade it was. Chances are you would see the same thing you always saw in terms of what school looked like, how it was organized, how students were taught, etc. Only if you looked at other aspects of society would it be obvious what decade or century you were in. I still sometimes hear that observation, which prompts me to say, as I do occasionally as part of the diverse duties of my role, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Welcome, on behalf of the middle school, welcome to our closing ceremony. In particular, I acknowledge people who have traveled from out of town and in some cases from quite a distance. I hope you found one of the more comfortable seats. Let's begin by acknowledging our students tonight. Grade 6, show us where you are. Grade 6s. Yes, there you are. I'm sure the applause will build. Grade 7, where are you? See where you are, grade 7s. And of course, behind me, and just loving every minute of being on stage, grade 8s. Let's welcome our grade 8s. The silence is wonderful. At our middle school, we're proud of the fact we provide our students with a program of depth and breadth, tailored to where they are in their development over these grades. While there are many similarities in many of our approaches, there's also important differences from grade to grade in how we group students, the program they take, and the opportunities they have in such areas as athletics, academics, service, and leadership. Schools really are incredible, complex organizations with, as we like to say, a lot of moving parts. Where do I begin when I think of this school year? When students returned from the summer, they walked into a building that was almost finished, the first phase of facility upgrades. Changes to flooring, lighting, furniture, painting, etc. had been happening at a frenetic pace over the summer. And you may remember, we didn't have hallway lighting for a while, but in true middle school fashion, we managed, and the wait was well worth it. In particular, the foyer was transformed and became an area which students naturally gravitated towards. Additional upgrades were completed at various times of the year, such as the hallway leading to the classrooms under Brown Hall. And there was just a bit of trepidation when we made the middle school a cell phone-free zone and waited with bated breath until we realized the sky was not going to fall in. Overall, you'll notice not many students were clapping then. Overall, the difference in tone, in activity, in conversations, and looking up instead of down had an immediate and significant impact on the overall climate, and even most parents adjusted to. In terms of examples that we continually evolve and are different in many ways from schools of years ago, as a staff we tackled a number of initiatives with the sole purpose of moving our middle school forward for the benefit of our students, with many of those goals overlapping. We took on a lot this year. The staff worked super hard. The term crib ice helped us to remember the 7 characteristics of our portrait of a learner continuum across the school: curiosity, resilience, integrity, balance, initiative, collaboration, and empathy. Those characteristics were woven through much of what we accomplished together this year, and with STEP conferences and flex days formed an important component of the year. Students, you sure gave us a lot of great feedback on aspects of this year that we explored together. There was lots of positive comments on the variety of activities and the structure of our many flex days, which allowed you to follow a schedule that was different from the normal routine. And here's a sample of some of your comments. I liked service trips. Lots of activities and more time to work on projects. Flex days gave me some new experiences. We got to try and learn new things. It made our schedule more diverse. Flex days were a good addition to the school this year. I liked how flex days gave us time to get out of school and experience new things. And then, of course, there's other kinds of comments, like, sometimes it was confusing and chaotic at the beginning of the day. Absolutely. Not enough student input. Well, we're trying to get more. We didn't have enough time to complete the activity. Have flex days more personalized. More choice would be good. There's always ways to improve, and student voice is increasingly a part of how we move forward. Let me see. Other highlights of this year included our largest group yet of grade 8s who attended the Case Leadership Camp in Ontario in September. Some grade 7s took part in the first Independent Schools Association of BC Student Leadership Program, And that enthusiastic group came back with a plan to create a more inclusive school community. Our own Grade 8 Leadership Conference, titled Fully Charged, brought together 130 Grade 8s from 9 different schools for an event organized and run by some of our students. And here's another example to show just how busy and engaged our students can be. There was one weekend in April when the Math Challengers team, of course we call them mathletes, were in Vancouver at the provincial competition. On the same weekend, we had students take part in the Model UN, discussing a diverse number of topics. On the same weekend, many students had their art on display at an independent school exhibition. On the same weekend, some students were taking part in the Vancouver Island Regional Science Fair at UVic. That was a pretty busy weekend. It's thanks to a dedicated group of adults who work alongside me at the middle school that our students, your sons and daughters, for most of you here tonight, benefit from the range and depth of our programs. We all know that schools are first and foremost about people. They work daily with our students, make the greatest impact, and I'm proud to recognize this wonderful team. Some words that come to mind when I think of them are committed, student-focused, creative, collaborative, empathetic, energetic, and compassionate. Another word is student, as in first knowing what this age and stage of development is like, and second, being a student themselves. By this I mean constantly learning, examining best practices, teaching one another, and learning from one another. And it also doesn't hurt that to spend as much time as they do with this age group, you need a well-developed sense of humor and just a touch of wackiness. Please join me in thanking the middle school team for all their work this year. Which brings me to this. When I look back at the past 14 years, here are some examples of how together, working as a team, we've contributed to the evolution of our middle school. Expectations of students are high. How we treat one another is important. And the 4 pillars developed a number of years ago guide our discussions when we need to engage in some difficult conversations. Students are seen and heard. They have a voice, and that needs to be part of the decision-making process. That doesn't mean they always know what's best. Adults guide and nurture that process, balancing numerous points of view and keeping the end goal in mind. We understand this age and we know our students. No one is allowed to be anonymous. Particularly at this age, students need to be in a setting where they are known and where adults work together to provide them with a range of programs tailored to their needs. We are also really proud of the development of many of our programs: academic, service, leadership, character, fine arts, co-curricular, athletic, teacher advisor group, outdoor education, and the opportunities our students have to leave campus and engage in a variety of life experiences, whether it be locally, within the province, across the country, or internationally. Lastly, all the staff have made significant steps forward in terms of how we support the various needs of our students and how we continually challenge ourselves to increase our skill set inside and outside the classroom to make learning as relevant and as interesting as possible. Thank you to the Parents Auxiliary for organizing yesterday's gathering after school. Many of you know that my association with this school goes back a few years, beginning in 1972, when I first set foot on this campus in grade 9. Then I spent a few years here early in my career and then returned 14 years ago. I've been part of this school during 3 very distinct times in the school's history, and I feel very privileged to be a member of this community. To the grade 6s, over there, guys, you've now completed your first year at middle school and are poised to return in the fall as fully fledged grade 7s. brimming with confidence and acclimatized to the expectations and responsibilities that await you. Think back to those first few days of school last September when you were welcomed by our wonderful web leaders and then shortly thereafter departed on your outdoor education trip. A lot's happened these past 10 months, and we have high hopes for you next year, that infamous middle year of the middle school. I also want to provide you with an update on your classmate. And I know I mentioned this morning at our assembly, and I think it's worth mentioning to everybody here tonight. Your classmate Jay, who was diagnosed with leukemia in early February. He's now finished 3 rounds of treatments and is waiting for the 4th. He remains in good spirits with a positive attitude, as you would expect from this remarkable young boy, and he certainly expects to rejoin you next year. Here's a short clip from yesterday's news that we showed earlier at today's assembly that I think is worth sharing with everyone here tonight.
Blood transfusions and their families thanked the anonymous donors who saved their lives. 10-year-old Jaden from White Rock and 11-year-old Jay from Victoria were both diagnosed with leukemia. She has been in remission for 5 years. He is currently undergoing treatment. Blood products have played a vital role in both their treatments.
She wouldn't have been able to receive her chemo if it wasn't for the blood that was donated, and I encourage people to give whenever they can. It made a difference, huge difference in our lives, so thank you.
Thanks to all the blood donors. You helped save a lot of children's lives. Don't stop giving.
Oh, how can you say no to that? Well, Canadian Blood Services says it's never been easier to donate. You can make an appointment online, and walk-ins are accepted at all Blood Services locations.
Good luck, Jaden, with your treatment.
Isn't that great? I know he probably can't hear us, but I know he will certainly feel us if we encourage him to continue along his path of recovery, and let's give him a big round of applause. To the grade 7s over here on my left, you're 2/3 through middle school, and come September, it'll be up to you to show the way, to step up and assume the responsibilities as the senior student leaders at the middle school. You are going to be joined by some tremendously talented new grade 8s, who I'm sure you will welcome, will help them adjust, and will show them what it means to be part of this community. Finally, of course, to the grade 8s. For the first time ever at a closing ceremony, I can say that you and I share this in common. This will be our last middle school event. Come the fall, we each embark on our next phase in life. Come to think of it, other than you getting up early to go to school, being at school, doing homework, and repeating that routine, our lives will be pretty much the same. I thought your dinner on Wednesday evening was the best one I have attended. First, each one of you were there, which I think says something about this class. And it was just a great gathering with just you and the staff, those who know you best, whether you've been at the middle school for 1, 2, or 3 years. I've been impressed with the impact many of you have made this year. You've left your mark in numerous areas, in the classroom, in concerts, in athletics, in service, and in leadership, to name a few areas. New friendships have developed. Along the way, there have been some struggles, as there are each year, and you will be stronger for it. So grade 8s, please stand. Link arms, or put your arms around each other if you feel like it. And join me for one last time as middle schoolers in the time-honored tradition that binds us together. Vivat on 3. 1, 2, 3. Vivat! Thank you, grade 8s. And thank you, everybody. I'm going to turn things over to Mrs. Haydock now. Thank you.
And if I could call Mr. Dan Sheehan to come up, representing the Board of Governors. So we're going to call the grade 6s in 3 groups, so let's hold our applause till all students are across the stage. Damon Baines. Ali Bulla. Jacqueline Chow. Isha Cordy Stevens. Annika Delight. Marlene Dietrich. Jack Dubé. Chioma Duru. Katie Eaton. Sophia Ailey. Sebastian Ellis Gray. Rihanna Finnegan. Caden Fuller. Alex Han. And finally, Patrick Hisson. This is our first group of grade 6s. Sierra Jacob. Dom Jiang. Stuart Kerr. Rowan Lee. Rosie Leggett. Jeffrey Liang. Swa Liao Briere. Aidan Mackay. Liam McKelvin. Abby McLeish Shaw. Daring Meng. Alex Motherwell. Mia Mueller. Ava Nisbet. And also Spencer Peters. Thank you, grade 6s. Nirvika Pillay. Lucas Kwan. Jenna Robinson. Finley Rolfe. Saba Shariati. Sienna Sheehan. William Song. Michael Tang. Sophia Sepignac. Olivia Vincent. Freya Walton. Madeline Wilson. Ivana Wu. Max Ewan. Bianca Zabrowski. Tiger Zhang. And finally, Yudi Zhang. Thank you, grade sixes. Thanks, Dan. We have a couple of grade sixes who have agreed to share a few words about their year. So Jack and Rihanna, if you want to come up to the stage.
Hi, I'm Rihanna. And I'm Jack. This is my first year at SMU, and for kindergarten to grade 5, I went to Frank Hobbs Elementary School.
This is also my first year here, and I moved here from Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia. Today, we're going to talk about our grade 6 year.
One of the first things that we really liked was getting a phone call from one of our web leaders the week before school started. The web leader made us feel welcome and a bit less apprehensive about our first day at middle school. Furthermore, on the first day of school, all the activities the web leaders organized were fun and a good way to meet our fellow classmates.
A couple weeks after that, all the grade 6s went to Camp Thunderbird. This was a really enjoyable experience because we got to try a whole bunch of new activities such as team building, rock climbing, canoeing, and archery. Doing this helped us to get to know more people out of school. We also liked the music program at SMU's. Just being in a strings or band class was amazing. I didn't know that we were going to be performing in front of our family and friends. I was in band, and the thing I really liked was choosing my instrument. This was probably the best time of year because you could choose anything you wanted to play because you were starting from the bottom and no one else would be better or worse than you. I found that when we were preparing for a concert, I wanted to do my best, so I practiced more.
I'm in strings, and a thing I liked was playing an instrument I had played before, in this case the cello, and an instrument that I was comfortable with. That way, it was an instrument I liked and wanted to play and practice. I also really liked all the performances that we did.
On the day we got our timetables, I saw that I had choir 3 times a week. I was overjoyed because in my old school, choir was optional and we had to do it at lunch.
We both really enjoyed choir, especially singing pop songs and singing songs for performances. One of my favorite subjects was humanities. One of our first projects was lit circles. We divided into groups, and each group had a certain book based on poverty in third world countries. It was kind of like a book club for kids.
The poverty project was soon after lit circles. We had a guest speaker that told us about the water situation in third world countries. It was so shocking that we decided to start a project on how we can supply water for these countries. What my class did was, what can we use to clean water in third world countries? My group did water wells, and others did other water things. Then at the end of the unit, we presented our ideas back to the present guest speaker we had after Christmas.
Recently, we have been working on the City 2020 project. Each of the 3 humanities classes had a question from a mayor around Greater Victoria.
Each mayor gave their class 5 questions about food, water, waste, energy, and transportation. We split up into groups that had to come up with the solution for the question the mayor gave us.
The group Jack and I were in had the question, how do we inspire people to stop using single-use items? And the mayor is considering our solution.
This year, I was really looking forward to science because I heard that we were going to do science fair. We had the school science fair, and some people did so well that the judges suggested that they go to the regional science fair.
Another fun subject was art. Near the beginning of the year, we did an interesting project called Illustrating Sound, in which we got a short piece of music created by the grade 6 band students to listen to and do some abstract painting based on what the music made us feel.
This is probably the first year I have learned a lot in French class, and it's been really fun. One thing that was different about French this year was all the speaking practice in French. We performed 2 plays in French. We also did concours, which was a bit nerve-wracking but enjoyable all the same.
In conclusion, we think this year has been the most enjoyable and fun school year we have ever had, and we would like to thank the teachers and students for making this truly amazing.
Thanks for listening.
Good evening, everyone, and particularly the grade 8 graduates. As the acting head of school, it's been an honor to be the keeper of the torch between the tenure of Bob Snowden and the welcoming of Mark Turner, our next head of school, who will arrive this summer. This has been an outstanding year of accomplishments in the middle school, and it has been an absolute pleasure for me to be part of things and to have seen so much of it in action. It's also an honor for me to offer a few thoughts this evening as we conclude a wonderful year, a milestone for the grade 8 graduates, and a successful and impactful career in education for Mr. Abreu. As an educator who has spent many years with the middle school age group, I know that this is a magic time in developmental life, and never has it been more important for our school to celebrate, strengthen, and protect the importance of the middle school concept. We should be very proud of the stance of our school and extremely proud of the middle school environment that has been created by an outstanding group of educators, all under the leadership of Mr. Abreu. Many of you may have attended one of the inspiring parent seminars this year, focusing on learning and understanding the needs of your children. At the end of the day, one could suggest that this has been another year of the teenage brain. This year, we were delighted to have several acclaimed speakers who delivered student workshops and parent evenings about brain-based learning, the understanding of executive functions, anxiety, depression, technology, and the importance of sleep, just to name a few. And it's wonderful that people are still chatting about these evenings weeks and months later. It was in one of these sessions when we heard a reference to Lynn Lyon, a leading specialist in teenage anxiety, who had been to our school a few years ago to speak. And I recall her opening line from one of her talks regarding student worries and the role that parents play. And I believe it went something like this. She said, "Nature, it is clearly the parent's fault. Nurture, it is clearly the parent's fault." And despite this tongue-in-cheek quote, Lynn and each of our speakers this year very quickly and definitively described the critical importance of the home and school partnership and our shared responsibility in helping students be content and to reach their goals. To build the partnership between home and school, we need to believe that everything in life is not perfect and that non-catastrophic failures, so things that don't go quite as planned but that you don't die from, should be viewed as life's potholes on the road to new learning. Each person in this room can think of an example, maybe scores of examples, of things that didn't go quite as planned, from health issues to relationships to understanding difficult concepts, right down to a bad hair day when your straightener broke at 7:20 a.m. True story. Never has it been more important for parents and school staff to create opportunities for students to experience their learning, to take appropriate risks, to let students metaphorically fall down 2 stairs, but not the whole flight, and to appreciate that worry is part of life. In fact, by creating supportive situations where students are increasingly leaning into the unexpected, potential potholes may eventually become personalized and priceless learning opportunities. With this change of thinking, bit by bit, students will build skills, resilience, and personal strength to shape their future. And by filling in potholes, reflecting on progress, and moving on with confident learning, you'll be able to look over your shoulder at a paved road of accomplishments, of which to be proud and of which to build on a personal legacy. Now, some of you have maybe have heard me suggest over the years that at this stage in life, middle school students are very intelligent and can sometimes have the intellectual equivalent of a smoke detector. Alarms can go off in your children's head when parents and other adults start talking about striving for goals or paying attention to life's lessons or absorbing advice about filling in potholes or whatever you might want them to learn. As soon as we start talking about these things, there is sometimes an internal mechanism that simply jams our message. So with that said, I'd like to pause. I'm going to ask all the middle school students to sit up tall. Put your feet on the floor. And if you would, just absorb these next 2 paragraphs. It goes without saying that all of you in this room have heard from more than one of us over the course of the year urging you to stretch your comfort zone. Get involved. Try your hand at leadership or service. Be true to yourself. Engage in a new sport, perform in chapel, join a club, and do ultimately anything that will exercise your brain. Don't sit idle. Neurons in your brains, just like muscles in your arms and legs, operate on a use it or lose it basis. The more you experience, the more you are involved in, and the more new and different opportunities you take on, the more your brain will be getting a fantastic workout. So to all the students, and particularly the grade 8 class, who will be moving into the senior school, the message I will leave you to think about over the summer is this. You are the road engineers of a very important stage in your brain development, and everything you do during these years will set you up with the skills, the confidence, and the enduring experience that you need to help negotiate any pothole you may encounter on your journey to discovering yourself and the world you live in. So when you return in September, be ready to try new things and to step outside of your comfort zone, as this is the time in your life when these actions may be the most positive thing you can do for your future. This will be your challenge, and we will hold you to it as part of our promise, both as a school and as a faculty. Students, thank you very much for your excellent listening. We are very proud of you, and I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful summer. I'd like to now turn my comments to those of gratitude. I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our exceptionally dedicated teachers and staff, the parent volunteers, and the Board of Governors, who have all been key contributors in supporting our students and making this an outstanding year. I'd also like to highlight a few middle school staff who will be leaving us this year. Lara Carlton has been working with the students and staff as a learning resource educational assistant for the last year. Lara is a caring, passionate, and fun-filled educator who has been an outstanding support and mentor to her flock of students. She is off to pursue a full-time teaching position, and we wish her every bit of thanks and well wishes. These next 3 faculty members I will thank and congratulate at the same time. Brady Dolan has been part-time this year, while Jerome Fonander and Ian Farish are long-serving middle school faculty members. All 3 are inspiring and contributing teachers who are taking on new roles in September. Mr. Dolan will be teaching full-time in the senior school physical education department. Mr. Fonander will be moving across Richmond campus to teach senior school English for 1 year, highlighting his master teaching talents and as a role model for teamwork and professional growth. Ian Farish, after nearly 20 years of sparking the passion for music in the middle school, will be permanently taking his infectious talents to the senior school, where he will see most of you again next year and in the years to come. So please join me in appreciating and thanking all three of these outstanding educators. Bob Newman, as you know, has been off this term on medical leave, and I'm delighted to say that he's doing well, recovering on pace, and he is here tonight to celebrate the end of the year with all of us. So please welcome back Mr. Newman. Mr. Newman has been at SMU for 20 years and has performed almost every role under the teaching sun. He has taught, coached, led exploratories, built sets in the musical, and has made connections with students in ways that made his classroom a destination for returning alumni. In fact, many of his English language learning students have made direct connections between his foundational teaching and care to their higher learning academic successes. He is retiring this year to pursue his interests and to enjoy the next stage in life, and I would ask that you join me in thanking him and wishing Mr. Newman the very best in his next chapter. Finally, Mr. Abreu has stated on several occasions that his retirement celebration should be low-key and public celebrations kept to a minimum. But while I still have master keys to the school for another month or so, we will do things a little differently. To say that Mr. Abreu's 14 years at SMU have been transformational would be a massive understatement. He joined a school in 2004 that was experiencing challenges, but saw nothing but opportunity, and shaped his ideas of the middle school into a shared vision that he has brought to life, making our middle school a leading model for these developmental years across Canada. Through his leadership, passion for student success, tenacity, and with boundless support from Mrs. Abreu, he inspired growth, enduring achievements, and the student-centered educational community that we proudly see and feel as we walk the halls of the middle school. He has this week has been a tributes to Mr. Abreu, his 14 years as the middle school director, culminating with the parent auxiliary reception, where they dedicated a bench in his name, and the closing assembly today with his key people in his life, the staff and the students. However, Mr. Abreu humbly states that the accolades from his time at SMU came from a team effort. In fact, these are the same thoughts shared from Phil Jackson, the storied NBA coach with the most combined championship credits to his name, who said, "The strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team." Like any head coach, players have come and gone from the team. However, Mr. Abreu's belief in the vision, the mission, and the collective power of each individual with his team has allowed our modest middle school coach to quietly prepare his students for ever-changing years to come in the immediate next stage of high school, but more importantly, as contributing members of our future world community. As a colleague, I can also share that Mr. Abreu has been an outstanding member of the senior leadership team. He represented the middle school's interest as a father would with his own children. He was influential in all major decisions and strategic planning, often being the person who, after quiet introspection and his trademark opening line, "Well, I see that a little differently," he would come up with one or two well-timed statements that would bring a discussion to its rightful conclusion, and always with the students at the center. He also set the organizational standard for the senior leadership team, showing up at meetings with distributed notes already in labeled, color-coded, tabbed binders, even if the email had only been sent out 10 minutes before the meeting. Amazing, actually. At this point, I would like to conclude with a reference to Reverend Fletcher's recent chapel talks about Charlie Brown and his time in middle school. I would like to remind everyone in this room of the iconic words from Charlie Brown's teacher that are so applicable to Mr. Abreu. Wah wah, wah 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 wah, wah 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 wah, wah 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 wah, wah 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 wah, wah 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 wah, wah wah. Roughly translated, you have inspired us. You showed us the importance of integrity, resilience, and being true to yourself. You have been at the center of our community. You have taught us to keep our eye on the ball. And although we are sad to see you moving on from our middle school, we are enormously grateful for your indelible legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a resounding thank you and bon voyage into retirement for Mr. Abreu.
What's left to say? These threads aren't working anymore. Every word shut down in flames. What's left to do with these broken pieces on the floor? I'm losing my voice, calling on you. 'Cause I've been shaking, I've been bending backwards till I'm broke. Watching all these dreams go up in smoke. Let beauty come out of ashes. Let beauty come out of ashes. And I pray to God, all I ask is, can beauty come out of ashes? Can you use these tears to put out the fires in my soul? 'Cause I need you here. Whoa. 'Cause I've been shaking, I've been bending backwards till I'm broke. Watching all these dreams go up in smoke. Let beauty come out of ashes. Let beauty come out of ashes. And I pray to God, all I ask is, can beauty come out of ashes? Can beauty come out of ashes?
And we're going to call the grade 7s in 3 fairly even groups. And we'd like to ask that you just hold your applause until the end of each group. And representing the Parents Auxiliary is the president, Teresa Price, who's going to help us out with these record of achievements. Teresa, thank you. McKenna Anderson. Jonah Arnold. Sava Bell. Daniel Benjamin. Daniel Bennett, Matthew Bennett, Hadi Bilal, Maya Brenham, Alistair Burridge, Tyson Chestnut, Alyssa Chu, Tomi Cram, Eva Cudahy, Eleonore de Nanteuil, Ella Delight, Ange de Giram, Maya Durikovich, Ty Driscoll, Layla Foster, and here is our first group of grade 7s. And our second group starts with Lauren Fracey, John Fu, Jai Graffi, Nichal Grewal, Kian Hashemi, Harrison Hellewell, Bryson Henry, Nokia Hiwagashi, Jasmine Hobbs, Josephina Ingemanson, Jonah Johnston, Harrison Jones, Ryan Killoran, Charlotte Lee, Xander Leluski, Evelyn Lee, Bella Liu, Ravi McLean, Josephine Mason Woodcock, Ellie Matthews, Avery Myers, join me in congratulating our second group of grade 7s. Ava O'Connor, Lucy O'Connor, Axel Otto, Neil Pakrasi, Arjun Patik, Reed Phillips, Alec Plate, Cole Pontefract, Alex Ross, Cameron Ross, Clara Revere, Kyle Schleining, Bhavi Singh, Alexandra Twaxon, Reagan Van Ramsdonk, Rowan Williams, Campbell Wilson, Ethan Woods, Samantha Yee, and Grace Yin. Ladies and gentlemen, our last group of grade 7s. Thank you, Teresa, for helping us out. And now, grade 7 student reflections. I'd like to ask Lucy O'Connor and Ravi McLean to come forward to represent their class tonight.
Hello, I am Lucy O'Connor.
And I am Ravi McLean.
This has been a great year for the middle school here at SMU. From Flex Days to concerts, this year has been such an excitement for all of us. We are here to talk about some of our personal highlights of the year. I was new to the school this year from Los Angeles, and I was amazed by the strong effort the middle school makes in order to welcome the new students and make them feel integrated in the community. I've appreciated the unique programs available to us. One of my favorite things about this school is the encouragement to try new things, whether it's music, sports, or arts. For example, I came from having done no previous sports with my old school to trying 4 completely new ones.
Hello, I'm Ravi. I have been at SMU since grade 4, and I'm going to talk about the fair game project we did for math. For that, we built student interactive... Yeah, I'm small. For that, we built student interactive carnival games using the area of shapes and also had to decide why it was fair. This was another great example of an intriguing project because we had to be original and fun. Another element of this one was that we had to use teamwork and collaboration with our teammates in order to be successful. I also personally participated in the CASE U13 soccer tournament where our team played against teams from all over Canada who traveled to Victoria to play in this tournament. This tournament was a great opportunity to get to know even more people and, most importantly, have fun. And now over to Lucy.
One of the most enjoyable projects we've done this year, in my opinion, is making our own civilization for humanities. We spent weeks developing a successful, or in my case, an unsuccessful civilization that incorporated traits from other flourishing civilizations we learned about throughout the year. This was such an interesting project because it enabled the grade 7s to showcase our learning, but it also had room for lots of creativity. The last thing I wanted to talk about is my experience with a few clubs and activities, 2 of which were World Scholars Cup and Model UN. In both cases, they were a really fun way to learn and demonstrate learning about cultures around the world. I loved the way we learned about speaking skills, got to meet new people, had fun, and learned about global issues all around the world.
Another aspect of this year that contributed to the success was the Flex Days. We had the opportunity of going off campus a couple of times for XPE and environmental service, which was a lot of fun, and an experience we couldn't have otherwise been a part of. Other times we had guest speakers and presentations. A memorable one of this year was the woman who came to talk about using less waste and how she massively reduced the garbage in her life. And finally, Flex Days gave us a chance to learn new things and work with new people as a team, like when we tried to make earthquake-proof spaghetti buildings and design skyscrapers out of newspaper. We also got to go out on our out trips to Camp Thunderbird, which was very enjoyable as we got paired with people we may not have known very well, and in general was a terrific opportunity to do something new and fun. I would definitely do this again, and next year I know that there is even more opportunities involving leadership. One of the opportunities that comes first is the web leader. A web leader plans ahead of the beginning of school to do activities in a welcoming manner for the grade 6s that are entering the middle school. I wasn't chosen to be a web leader, but that is only one of the very many leadership roles you enroll in grade 8. Overall, this year has been full of learning as well as a little bit of fun. It certainly has been one of my favorite years at SMUS.
We just barely made it through another year of school, and we hope you have a great summer.
Cole Ashley. Hamraj Ajela. David Baker. Mahek Bawa. Elliot Baxendale Fabi. William Bennett. Jonah Beck. Alex Brown. Matthew Bulla. Alejandro Cambeses. Cassidy Card. Louis Champion. Louis Cheng. Kevin Chen. Ryan Chow. Elizabeth Cunningham. And Emma Curry. Congratulations, grade 8s. Dave Duru. Juliet Elbers. Carrie Elsay. Evan Fonander. Anna Fowler. McKenna Fuller. Ava Galloway. Zoe Garson. Sophia Hedler. Izzy Hellman. Katie Hooten. Ben Ingmidson. Marina Jacob. Neil Jacobs. Grace Jiang. Ella Jones. And Jack Jones. Lauren Kamimura. Charlotte Kessler. Jamie Kim. Finn Cleanse. Alyssa Coral Philby. Cypress LeBlanc. Cameron Lee. Alex Lee. Leo Lee. Eric Lin. Adam Wong. Or Adam Liu, actually. Sorry, Adam. As we don't have an Adam Wong. Jerry Liu. Lucas Liu. Tion McLeish. Nevea Miller. And Marcus Mueller. Thank you, grade 8s. Joshua Mwange. Rose Newman. Rocky Pan. Josh Parson. Kate Pichet. Hamash Pillay. Sophia Kwan. Emilio Rabago. Bree Robinson. Paige Rothwell. Sam Shariati. Gabby Shipley. Brody Snyder. Sophia Spiteri. Willem Seitzma. And Jimena Vasquez. Congratulations. And our final group of grade 8s, Owen Vincent, Vienna Wakefield, Sophia Margaret Wall, Callum Weber-Smith, Andre Wen, Alden Waymar, Nathan Wally, Matthew Wong, Emma Sia, Eric Xiong, Carrie Yao, Christian Ewan, Frank Zeng. Elaine Zhang. Nicholas Zhang. And Jocelyn Zhao. Thank you, grade 8s. And Willem Seitzma and Sophia Hedler, if you could come up, please.
Good evening. My name's Sophia, and I've been attending SMU since the beginning of grade 7.
And my name is Willem, and I'm a lifer here at SMU.
And we'd like to tell you a bit about our past grade 8 year.
I think I can speak for all of us grade 8s when I say that the 2017-18 year has been filled with so many amazing opportunities and memories.
Whether or not those memories were significant, funny, embarrassing, or frightening, I think that we can easily say that this year has built a lot of character for each and every one of us.
All of us have grown a lot since the beginning of the year, and it is crazy to think that just in a few months we will be officially going into high school.
From jokes shared between friends in the hallway to 5-day-long outdoor education trips together, this year has definitely been one of the best.
I understand the word best could be often sometimes overused in describing an experience one has had with a particular event. But I am a firm believer that once you have had a school year that has gone by like a snap of a finger, you can check it off as being one of the best years you've had at St. Michael's.
Personally, I can say that I've made some friendships that I never expected I would, and I'm so grateful for the amazing year filled with these.
This year was one full of growth and maturity. Classmates and close friends have come such a long way in respecting our inner values and most certainly this school's 4 pillars: service, honesty, respect, and courage.
One great opportunity that was open to the grade 8s this year was the band and strings trip up to Whistler Mountain. That 4-day trip was definitely one of my highlights of the year, not only for the amazing musical opportunities that it provided, but also the bonds between classmates that it created.
My most prized memory or trip that I took part of this year was the Model UN excursion to Whistler. This trip not only was a time to discuss present issues in our world today, but it allowed a sense of freedom to be brave and bold in the choices and actions we make on a daily basis. In other words, this journey taught me that it is okay to stand out from the group, which is what Reverend Fletcher likes to refer to and talk about during many of the chapels that we have had this year. I would say that the opportunity I was given transformed me into a stronger and more socially confident person at the end, which was really beneficial leading into my academic courses as well.
Furthermore, this year was one of the first years we got to experience a new aspect of SMU life, which was boarding. Neither Willem and I are boarders. However, we have both made really good friends with boarding students. And it's so interesting and fun to experience meeting and getting to know new people and learning about their different cultures. I know that no matter how far away we may end up from each other, these people will be lifelong friends.
For me, grade 8 was a journey that influenced so many people to show courage and most certainly service around the SMU community. From the amazing chapel performers that cherished the opportunity to showcase their talent in front of peers and staff members, to a simple act of service in the hallway by helping a student with their overwhelmingly big binders. Grade 8 has definitely put the lead in leadership to pass down to the up-and-coming students of the middle school.
This year, I made it a personal goal for myself to take a step out of my comfort zone in the sense of leadership. And one of the amazing chances that I got to do this with was this year's Grade 8 Leadership Conference. I was part of a team of about 20 keen and hardworking students who planned, organized, and put on the event. Working with such an eager group of people taught me a lot of things about hard work and dedication. As well, it showed me that leadership starts with you, and only you. You have to be willing to put in the time, to put in the effort, and the extra hours. However, it also proved to me that you can never be too prepared for something, and it really made me appreciate the amount of work it takes to get a successful outcome in anything, no matter what that task is.
I know I am, and all of the other students in the middle school are very fortunate to be given the opportunity to go to this amazing school. And for that, I would like to say a thanks to all the parents that make that possible for their children. We feel that we are ending the middle school years on a very high note, and for that, we could not have accomplished this without our teachers and most certainly our loving parents. So on behalf of the student body of grade 8, we thank you.
It's now time to present special awards to some of our grade 8 students. At today's final assembly, we acknowledge some students in grades 6 and 7 who have had exceptional years and earned recognition in the areas of leadership, citizenship, and all-round achievement. I'd like to ask Mr. Abreu to come forward to present these special awards to the grade 8 students. Bear with me, I'm just going to read you the criteria for each of these awards. We'll begin with leadership. This individual demonstrates active involvement in the life of the middle school community, demonstrates committed involvement in the area of service, contributes to and participates in various activities that enhance the values and the spirit of the school and exemplify our 4 pillars: service, honesty, courage, and respect. If I could ask Gabby Shipley to come forward, please. And also receiving the Grade 8 Leadership Award, Rocky Pan. You guys can remain standing, okay? Citizenship Award. This award is considered with both student and faculty input. This person helps to build a community atmosphere by including diverse people and points of view, is known to be reliable, honest, congenial, and a mature person who is respected by peers and staff, is a positive role model for the wider community, and exemplifies those 4 pillars. Marina Jacob. Tion McLeish. Elizabeth Cunningham. Neil Jacobs. McKenna Fuller. Owen Vincent. Anna Fowler. Elaine Zhang. And finally, Ryan Chow. The final award is the All-Round Achievement and Contribution. This person demonstrates high academic achievement over the school year, is a strong contributor to the Fine Arts program, a strong contributor to a variety of sports with an emphasis on good citizenship, is known as a positive citizen of the school through their demeanor and commitment, a person of strong personal character, and exemplifying the 4 pillars. Ava Galloway. Jocelyn Zhao. Emma Curry. And our final student, Mahek Bawa. Congratulations, grade 8s. The next portion of the program is the year in review, lovingly prepared by Mr. George Floyd. So grade 8s, can you take a minute to turn your chairs around so you can see the screen?
Original creative house cheer that you can.
When men is hot to go, H-O-T-T-O-T-O. Hot to go, hot to go. We're gonna win forever.
Redistribute the food, squish in extra place settings, but by the end of the night, it was like the more the merrier.
So grab that microphone and be brave. Sing your heart out on life stage.
Reach the stars, higher than the sea. Dream a dream, and
Mr. Butler, good morning.
Nice with your lunch.
There was a rabbit, a wonderful rabbit, and the rabbit.
Keep beating 'cause no one else knows your fire.
Have a great week, everyone.
There we are. So how was that?
That was so good.
That was good.
He was the 19th.
Oh my goodness, now look at this. Atta girl.
Thank you. Your courage is much appreciated.
This new kind of quiet fills our world, because what good are words when they mean nothing?
Ready? 3, 4.
That's some pretty submerged.
What an incredible year in review video, Mr. Floyd. Please join me in thanking him for all of that work. So we're in the home stretch, almost there. So it's going to take us just a couple of minutes to get reorganized for the final part of our program, the school song and the recessional. So at this point, I'm going to ask all of the grade 8s, those of you that were taking part in the processional and your instruments are there, you can exit to my left. Those of you that started the evening on the far right now can exit off of the stage on the right, get your instruments, and then join your peers over here on my left. If you could do that right now, grade 8s, thank you. So first of all, thank you to those people that helped so much in the organization and in the running of this evening, to Mrs. Haydock, Ms. Toller, Mr. Floyd, Mr. Williams, Ms. Donatelli, Madame Pike, thank you very much for all of your help. To our music teachers, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Frater, Mr. Farish, our art teacher, Ms. Bottomley, and Emily, her assistant. I don't know if you noticed, but maybe as you leave, it'll be more obvious, and you can just take a minute to take some pictures. We have our annual collaborative middle school art project that's just in the lobby at the foot of the stairs. Something quite unique and different from previous years. And so if you go there and check that out, you'll notice what that's all about. And then of course, over to my right, to your left, we have some magnificent mural paintings that were done as part of an exploratory group this term. They are going to be placed around the school, and they are being put on display tonight for the very first time. So some really exceptional collaborative artwork that's been done under the guidance of our fabulous art teacher, Miss Bottomley. I'd also like to thank the technical crew and others behind the scenes for this evening. Once we are finished with the SMUS school song and the recessional, please join us for refreshments. We've got some lemonade and water and some cookies in the foyer, and we'd love to have you stay for a little while and just mingle before everybody starts the summer. The words are in your program if you don't know them by heart. Please stand and remain standing after the school song for the recessional.